When it comes to historical royalty, kings take up a considerable amount of space. But if we're talking about drag royalty, more often than not it's all about the queens. Drag kings have occupied modern queer spaces just as long as the former, taking part in the 1969 Stonewall riots and becoming mainstays in the club scenes at historic lesbian bars like Cubby Hole and Henrietta Hudson throughout the 80s and 90s. You may have even seen them on television, with the L-word character Ivan Aycock appearing opposite Pam Grier in the early 2000s. Nonetheless, despite devoting decades to drag excellence, kings seldom earn the same praises, both in mainstream media, online, or in the drag community, as their sisters. If you assume drag kings receive less attention because they're not as fabulous as their queen counterparts, you'd be mistaken. The transformation also involves artistry, imagination, and makeup, but it's not one and the same. Whether they're drawing on a contour or painting on a beard, the kings of today are defying convention across the board. Here's how. The art of becoming kings. When I'm not in drag, I like to say I look like a boiled potato, and when I'm in drag, I'm like a crispy potato chip, says Tenderoni, a Chicago-based drag king. Drag king makeup is kind of like the opposite of drag queen makeup. Drag queens are always trying to create a softer, rounder face, and I'm always trying to create a square, more angular face. Each artist's aesthetic differs depending on the person, but there are a few makeup techniques drag performers of all genders rely on: makeup, hair, and body. Contouring has remained a constant step in a performer's drag makeup routine. It's the art of using shapes and colors to trick the eye, and for many artists, figuring out their ideal contour pattern starts by studying facial anatomy and going from there. If you look at photos of men, you can notice where the lines are on their face and where you'll want to put your shadows and highlights if you're going for something more masculine, says Spiky Van Dyke, a Memphis-based drag king. I like to accentuate my jawline by applying darker makeup under it. Then I contour below my cheekbones, on my nose bone, and add a little line of shadow below my nose straight down to my upper lip. Then for the forehead, men generally have an indentation on the right or left side above their eyebrows when they make an angry face, so I contour up there as well. For many kings, facial hair is the stage and the process when their character comes to life. There's so much room for play when it comes to facial hair, and often kings will fall back on a signature mustache, goatee, or beard when creating a look. Besides stamping on that clown white, I feel like a mustache is very much a staple for me, says Shoponii, a Brooklyn-based drag king. I use a lot of drugstore eyeliners for my mustache, like NYX Professional Makeup or Wet n Wild, and they're amazing for precision work. Kings take many approaches to facial hair, beyond just the style they choose to incorporate into their drag look. Application and mediums vary from king to king, with artists like Tenderoni and Shoponii frequently sticking with painting on their facial hair with eyeliner, eyeshadow, or cosmetic paints. Then there are those who opt for something a little more three-dimensional. I actually cut up hair pieces, either from wigs or braided hair, says Magic Dyke, a Nairobi-based drag king. Then I use a water-based glue, Pros 8, which is the best glue on the market for when it comes to applying stuff on your face, in my opinion. After finishing with their makeup and hair, many kings decide to push their looks even further by extending the illusion past the neck and shoulders. This could range between wearing a silicone chest piece to mimic the contours of a masculine body, or taping down the chest and painting on abs. Then again, not every king is intent on adhering to a strictly masculine or even cisnormative presentation. I find power in femininity, and I translate that into how I am outside of drag, says Shoponii. My drag has always been inspired by my transness, and out of drag, I'm a transman. I've gotten mistaken for wearing hip pads before because I have a curvy body, but out of drag, I'm also a curvy man. Everything with my drag is a parody of my own transness and F*** king around with gender.